Tilly, who works on the show.
Hi, Tilly.
Her sister loved Parenting Hell so much, she decided to have a child so she could enjoy it more.
Oh, my God. Right. Your sister's insane. Your sister, that is mad.
She loved it. Hang on a minute. People more and more want to go to live events.
I went to ABBA Voyage, and that is amazing where they're doing the holograms and stuff. But you wouldn't go and see someone who you could see. You wouldn't go and see Michael McIntyre Voyage. The more we head in that kind of direction, AI and everything, it's just going to... Live performance is just going to get stronger and stronger because people want that. You spend so much time on your phone, you want that connection. I had 3 minutes on advent calendars in the last tour, which is, I see it as a challenge.
I love it.
I've got the new tour, I'm doing quite a lot on party bags. I think it's those things where you go, those things that exist, but you don't notice them.
Yeah.
That's
party
the fun.
Bags.
Virgin Radio.
The star of stand-up, prince of podcast and titan of your telly, who's about to start a very long tour. Not My Cup of Tea begins with some work-in-progress dates next month and basically goes through until the summer of next year. So please welcome a man about to swap parenting hell for a parenting holiday. It's Josh Widdicombe.
All right, Josh.
Hello, how are you?
Very well. Just come a bit closer to the mic.
Oh, I always do that.
I know, because you're so chilled.
I know, sorry.
You're more chill than ever today because you haven't been well. Vassos knows this because he's listened to the latest episode of your podcast, Parenting Hell. How are you now? What's been the issue? Can we help?
Yes, I'm through it. I'm going to cough. It's the talk of illness, isn't it? Makes you cough.
Yeah.
I'm through it. I'm coming out the other side, but I'm weak.
Right. What was it?
I'm weak generally as a human.
Was it the Christmas cold thing?
The whole family, so all four of us went down, and my mother-in-law.
Wow.
5 of us in the house, ill at the same time.
Right, so we didn't have it in our house, but other people we know did. My daughter was coming down for Christmas. She had it, and apparently it just if your house had it, it floored you. And if you didn't, you really got away with things.
Yeah,
over Christmas.
it was mad. It was so. And I went to the doctor, so I ended up on a nebulizer at the hospital because of asthma, and then and my son I took in his temperature went to 41 and stuff, so it was pretty intense. It was an intense old week.
When were you through the worst of it, would you say?
Saturday.
Right, because you still look very coldy. I don't
I
mean that. I don't want to bring you down.
Fine.
I'm just being honest. That's all.
Yeah.
But this is like a tenth of what you were.
The doctor said to me, you'll have this for 3 weeks. Like you'll feel unwell for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm on week 2.
I once had a virus for 6 months.
Did you?
Yeah, I'll never forget it. It wasn't that long ago. It was a few years ago, but it was like in the last 10 years. And it was a super virus. And I remember, and it just floored me. I was down for about 3 or 4 weeks, still coming to work, but just about could come to work. I thought it was ME for a while.
Yeah.
I just felt so bad. He said it's going to be 6 months, and it was.
It's mad because you feel like you're fine, and then you try and do something.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just awful.
Yeah. No, rest is best.
Yeah.
So this tour,
Yeah.
58 days. When does it start?
September.
Oh,
we're fine. Oh, we're fine. We're fine. I'll be all right by then.
I was actually going to put the kibosh on it. I was going to say you can't go, Josh.
No, I'm fine.
We want you around.
I'll still be with us.
And what about the last leg?
That starts tomorrow.
Oh, come on, mate. Be careful.
Well, I know.
You got to be careful. Seriously, you have to be careful.
What?
There's nothing more important than your health.
All right, we're going to pull the last leg tomorrow.
Well, no, you don't.
I'm going to watch The Traitors.
By the way, you've caught up to the last 9 minutes of last night's Traitors.
I was watching it on my phone, and they came and got me. I was like, and I could hear you talking about The Traitors.
Sorry.
And I was no, it's fine. I've got 9 minutes left of last night's show. But yeah, last leg's on tomorrow. But do you know what it reminds me of? Tomorrow's last leg is. I once was performing at Glastonbury, and at the same time Radiohead were on, and everyone who was watching me, I was thinking, you've made the wrong decision here.
So
tomorrow, I'm going to say it.
You're not up against it.
We're up against Uncloaked.
Uncloaked?
Uncloaked.
I don't even know what Uncloaked is.
Uncloaked, Chris.
Yes.
It's like the
It Takes Two.
You're Fired or It Takes Two.
Right.
And they're going to have Chris, I'm going to be on the last leg, and I'm going to be watching Uncloaked on my phone at the same time.
But it's not like it's the final or anything tomorrow, is it?
It's the final.
Oh, no, then there is no point in you going in. So I didn't know that bit.
It's the final, Chris.
So I've never seen Traitors. We talk about it all the time.
The traitor would say that.
This is something to talk to you about. I better plug your
Sorry,
tour. Because we're not
sorry.
going to talk about your tour. JoshWiddicombe.com. Josh is on tour from September, hopefully, right through to 2026. And there'll be extra dates. There's 58 dates so far. The pressure's on. You got to buy these tickets. The ticket anxiety is rife at the moment.
Exactly. It's going to be like Oasis, etc. Now, let's talk about the traitor. No.
Actually, no, back to tickets for a sec. Who's the big dog of ticket sales? Is it John Bishop?
No, the biggest dog.
Well, it's Peter Kay, but he's
Kevin Bridges.
Right, Kevin Bridges, yeah.
Kevin Bridges does like 23 nights in Glasgow.
Oh my gosh.
I think there's a stat. Correct me. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Where if you added up the amount of people that saw Kevin Bridges in the SECC, it would be 1 in 3 people in Glasgow had been to that tour or whatever.
So Kevin Bridges, John does quite well.
McIntyre, obviously.
Michael McIntyre. Where are you? I mean, don't be
I'd say
don't
I'm
be cute.
Everton.
This year or last year? This season or last season? That's quite important, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we'll see how this interview goes. I'd say I'm. So there's the Premier Leagues.
Yes.
They're your arena fillers.
Your Premier League.
No, they're the arena. They're the Champions Leagues, who are the people that do arenas.
You've done an arena, haven't you?
I did a parenting hell in an arena.
There you go.
Yeah.
You've arenaed?
Yeah, but with Rob Beckett.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And then
That's more like an exhibition.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's Soccer Aid.
Yeah.
And then you've got the people that play big theatres, which is me.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, which I'm very happy with.
Of course you are. Who, in many ways, maybe even happier.
You know what? I don't have to pay for a screen because everyone can see me in my small little theatre.
Is that what goes on there with that?
Oh, you have to pay for... Chris, you have to pay for everything to come in. So when you go and watch Madonna in an arena, she's had to bring in all her own stuff.
Oh, I know about Madonna, but I didn't realise...
Yeah, I've... Whereas when I turn up at Buxton Opera House...
Yeah.
I don't even bring my own mic.
You don't...
I don't even... I trust them to have one.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because comedians do sound checks, which is hilarious. Yeah. It's not like, can you turn the piano up? Or, the BVs aren't on fire today. But you still have to do a sound check.
1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, that's fine. See you in 2 hours.
Have you ever been tempted to do just a quick 10 minutes just for the crew?
Imagine what to the ghost of the theatre.
So funny. Wow. But it's tough, isn't it? But it is tough and it isn't tough because people more and more want to go to live events more than ever before. And this is just true now. It's just a fact. It's just a phenomenon. It's not marketing. It's not hype. It is a thing, whether it's comedy, whether it's pop concerts, whether it's rock concerts, whether it's car shows, whether it's Strictly Come Dancing live.
Yeah, I'm taking my daughter to Strictly Come Dancing live. And it's that thing where you're like, I think, I was having, everyone's talking about AI and stuff.
Yeah.
But I went... Well, not obviously, but I went to ABBA Voyage, and that is amazing where they're doing the holograms and stuff. But you wouldn't go and see someone who you could see. You wouldn't go and see Michael McIntyre Voyage because the whole thing is to go and see the live experience.
Yeah,
and
but the Voyage thing works because it's the closest thing you're going to get.
Exactly. So you'd go and see the Beatles Voyage.
Yeah, but you go and see the bootleg Beatles, the tribute.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But there's something, I think, the more we head in that kind of direction, AI and everything, it's just going to... Live performance is just going to get stronger and stronger because people want that... You spend so much time on your phone, you want that connection.
We were saying this yesterday. It's funny, isn't it? The younger generations, whatever they are, I always get mixed up, X, Y, Z, and, whatever it may be. Generation Alpha is now, isn't it? Of course it would be. That makes sense. But they spend a lot of time on their phones, seeing other people having a great time, going, okay, I'm going to have one of those great times. And then they get there, and because their investment and their excitement and their language, is these massive things, they have an even better time when they're there than we did before.
Totally, because I think there's also this thing of...
And they're sober.
So
they're present.
They remember it.
Yeah!
But I think there's also this thing of there's... Obviously, we're all thinking a lot about being in the now and mindfulness and all these things and experiencing the moment and all that kind of thing. And a lot of that is because you've lost that from your life because you're living on your phone.
Yeah.
And I think... live performance is the ultimate experiencing of that now.
So it's two extremes.
Yeah,
it works.
Totally.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I think it's cool.
And I think that's also fed, this might be maybe a theory too far, but I think it's fed stuff like the way people respond to podcast or things that people put out there. People much prefer a more personal experience from
More
people.
personal and more specific.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's more thinly sliced. Life is thinly sliced, but the joint of meat is the one you wanted in the first place. And, you're hanging around with the same tribe, and
Yeah.
you're talking the same language, and you've got your own little world going on, and you feel part of a community. And we know that community is what we are communal beings, and we know that community actually helps you live longer.
Well, it's totally. I took my daughter to Taylor Swift last year, and what was incredible about that is obviously I've been to see huge bands in stadiums before, is how personal it was.
Yeah.
And how invested these people. It
Because
wasn't.
they know her from her
Yeah,
Instagram.
exactly. How connected people were, how the community of the fans, and Taylor Swift's great, but I'm not going home and putting Taylor Swift on myself, but I found it an incredibly emotional experience because it meant so much to all these people in a way that it doesn't when you go and see
totally.
the Rolling Stones or something, which is great, but it's let's see the Rolling Stones. There was a connection that maybe didn't used to exist.
Well,
from
it's deeper,
performers.
isn't it? It's deeper.
Yeah.
So if you go and talk to somebody who you love, you listen deeper down in your being, and they talk from deeper down in their being, and times that by 90,000 a night for Taylor Swift.
And yeah, totally.
So do you have this connection with your fans?
No,
but it's funny.
Well,
isn't it? Why wouldn't you?
I think from doing the podcast,
Yes.
I've become much more connected to my audience.
Yeah.
I think that's changed the way comedy's worked, right? Because you actually learn that the more you speak to someone honestly, the funnier you are. Yeah. And I think that celebrities previously used to be about create this image of myself and cut myself off now. And it's now the opposite. And I think that's incredibly healthy, actually. I think people thought, that's very unhealthy because you're sharing too much of your life and stuff. But actually, it's very healthy for the audience because they're getting honest people being honest about difficulties and struggles and all that kind of thing. And it's healthier for the celebrity because you're not living two lives.
Yeah.
You're not going.
Well, that's why it used to send people bonkers.
Yeah.
Being famous.
Yeah.
Because they had this persona, and then they had this protected, personal, private person at home. And I was never like that. You know.
No, yeah.
And I found it just. That's why I had such a nice time. I think it's probably why I'm still here doing what I'm doing.
When I was listening to your Radio 1 show and I was watching TFI Friday, and it was all part of the same soap opera.
Well, you couldn't make that stuff up because it's too exhausting. And it was exhausting anyway.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I know other people, no names, no pat drill, and no judgment. And they used to say to me, he wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And they were talking about themselves.
Yeah.
On top of the pops and things like that. I'm thinking, good luck,
Yeah.
And they thought I was the... I was the idiot because they're like, no, you need to have your private person. I go, do you? Oh, sorry, I don't really get that. That's called acting, isn't it? It's, by the way, fine. And some of them have done extraordinarily well, much better than I could ever want or wish or even, possibly get to do. But it's not for me.
No, I totally agree. I think there's a relief to going, I've just said that thing that I was embarrassed about.
Yeah.
And it's on the podcast, and I'm, that thing that maybe a few years ago would have been about shame and all these kind of connected things. And actually, it's fine to be honest about yourself, and it's much better. And that's, that's everywhere from Taylor Swift down to a comedian that's...
And then there was the cancel culture storm or set of storms, which people seem to have navigated now and got through that thinking, well, no, you could cancel me for this, but it is just what I think, and everybody's probably thinking similar things about different things anyway, and that's all right now.
Yeah, I think...
To a point.
Yeah, and I think... I think the cancel culture thing is a weird thing because... Actually, when you go, give me some examples of people who've completely lost their career, and it's not really, there's storms in a teacup, but I think in comedy, it's quite difficult for me in comedy because I am not the kind of person that is talking about these big topics. I don't, and because they're not the topics I think about day to day.
I know. It's so clever, your humour.
It's really interesting that you get kind of people that, obviously comedians talk about what interests them.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of lucky that the things that interest me are so much. I love mundanity.
Yeah, and your tour isn't even called Storm in a Teacup. It's just called Not My Cup of Tea.
Not My Cup of Tea.
And Storm in a Teacup would be quite a gently aggressive tour. But Josh's Storm in a Teacup. I mean, it's still tea. It's not like heroin or whatever else is going on. But it's not even that. It's just not my cup of tea.
Not my cup of tea. I like British British mundanity.
And
That's
Britain
what
loves you.
Yeah, it's that kind of I like that kind of Martin Parr or Jarvis Cocker.
I know you don't want to do any of your tour.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Because that's not all comedians
do you want some kind of
just give us
hot button topics?
The most mundane thing that you have found humour in the last 10 years.
Oh, in the last 10 years. Yeah. Oh, that's...
just a flavour of it.
Yeah, okay. So, I had 3 minutes on advent calendars in the last tour, which is, I see it as a challenge.
I love it.
I love to go...
We love talking about advent calendars.
Yeah, I've got the new tour. I'm doing quite a lot on party bags at children's parties. Yeah. Anything where I go... I think it's those things where you go, those things that exist, but you don't notice them.
Yeah.
That's
party
the fun.
Bags. Oh, you have me at party bags.
Do you know what? Someone said to me the other day.
The pressure of party bags.
This is the time when you go, God, like time has changed while I've been a comedian. My friend said, didn't you used to have a routine about dropping a CD on a laminate floor and not being able to pick it up? And I was like... There's people in the gallery have gone
killing themselves laughing.
That feels like so. But I was like, oh my God, I did. I used to do like 2 minutes.
Just spitting your fingernails.
Yeah, and you're like, I used to be touring the country, telling people about dropping a CD
cutting
on a laminate.
Mate.
Yeah, cutting edge.
You have these is a sort of 5-pronged attack on us all the time in the most entertaining way. So you have it's the last leg. You've got your tour, your comedy generally. You've got your podcast, Parenting Hell, which is great. And of late, you have a couple of others. So you've been on Uncloaked. You've appeared on Uncloaked, which I now know about.
I like going. Yeah.
And also Strictly. So
here we go.
You were on Strictly, weren't you?
I did the Christmas special.
On the Christmas special, which was interesting. So anybody who signs up for the Christmas special, that's just such an interesting take. This is total judgment now, right?
Yeah, go for it.
But I'm not judging you. I'm judging somebody over here.
No, go for it.
Okay, the other person over here.
I'm interested.
Does somebody sign up for Strictly the Christmas special because they've always fancied it and they want to experience it? Because you do have to do loads of training for it still.
Yeah.
But they just don't want to go on the show and risk finding out that the public don't like them as much as they hope they did.
So, I think...
Or is that just me talking?
No. I think that is a genuine... You'd be lying to say that's not a concern that's going through your head.
Unless you're Christopher Causland, because everybody loves him anyway.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'd say... So my friend Ivo Graham, the comedian, described it when I told him. He described the Christmas special as the coward's compromise.
Oh, right. So we agree.
But I think... I wanted to do it I said for my daughter, but for myself.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we love this show in my house, right? We love Strictly. Yeah. And I was fascinated to do it. And I think there's part of you that's like, maybe I'm going to be brilliant. Maybe I'm going to be terrible. I've never danced sober. Mm-hmm. I've never danced at all, really. Properly. Yeah. And so it is a way of doing it and experiencing it. You'd be lying to say, oh, well, obviously I'd love to do the normal series, but my diary isn't allowing, so I could only do the Christmas special. Yeah. There is part of you that's like, but also when you're doing it, suddenly you're like, maybe I've got Blackpool in me. Maybe. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe the Halloween show.
Maybe. I reckon.
And
I reckon the country would get behind me.
If
here.
you sign up for the Christmas special, are you then allowed still to...
Yeah, so Jamie Borthwick from EastEnders did the Christmas special the year before me. And then he did it this year, the main one. Which wasn't great for the ones of us who did the Christmas special because it meant every single person that we met would go, well, Jamie... So when you're doing the Christmas special, everyone's like, would you do the main one? Would you do the main one?
Is this why you booked a tour, so you can't?
No, I've booked a tour because I didn't know how much I'd enjoy the Christmas special.
Did you really love it?
No, I loved it.
Oh, wow.
I loved it. I genuinely, it was... it's like you and running. Do you know what I mean? You know when you find something. I'm not, but like, and I've got really into exercise, and I've got really into going to the gym and all these kind of, and eating well and all that kind of middle-aged stuff that I've really embraced. And this is a really good extension of it, because I just loved the experience. I loved hanging out with Karen. She's genuinely was just a really fun person to hang out with. And let's not forget that Anton gave me a 10. Let's not forget I got 10 out of 10
let's
from
not
Anton.
forget it was Christmas.
And that's how they lure you in, Chris. And then you go and do the main series, and he gives you a 6, and you're like, I thought we had a deal here, Anton.
How well do you know how much people like your Parenting Hell podcast?
I think, honestly, you know what. When you do stuff, you know what's popular, you know what's not popular, because of the way
I know
people
you know it's
react.
popular. Do you have any idea how much people like it that like it?
I think so.
I'm gonna. All right. Well, I'm gonna.
okay.
I have
Oh,
an
I hope
example.
so. Okay.
How much? So imagine.
If people come up to me, this is what I mean is if people come up to me in the street.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
85% will talk about
Fine.
parenting
That's all
hell.
fine. That's
And
but that's like you having a clipboard. You know, what do you think of this show? Blah blah
Yeah,
blah
yeah.
in the street. Now I'm doing ninja level adoration for Parenting Hell.
No, I wouldn't.
What would prove to you? What could possibly prove to you how much people like Parenting Hell more than what I'm about to say?
Okay, go on.
I hope you're excited.
I'm nervous.
No,
if
don't
I'm
be.
honest.
You don't need to be nervous.
Okay.
Tilly, who works on the show,
Hi, Tilly.
her sister Jess loved Parenting Hell so much she decided to have a child so she could enjoy it more.
Oh my God!
I
Right, your sister's insane. Your sister, that is
She loved it. She
mad.
said, hang on a minute. I love it. How can I love it more? Well, if I was an actual parent.
Oh, wow.
So her and Pete had a child just
Oh,
last
my
week.
God.
Tilly's an
What,
auntie for the
last
first.
week?
Yes, for the first time. And she said,
Oh, congratulations
and she said,
to
I thought
them.
I liked Parenting Hell before, but oh my God,
Fair play
can
to
you
her.
imagine?
I thought you were going to say, so she's got a tattoo, but this is much more extreme
She's
than a
had
tattoo.
child, so she can be more in the Parenting Hell
Nature's
club.
tattoo.
Can you imagine?
Oh, wow, that is insane.
Proper, isn't it?
Fair play
How's
to
that
her.
make you feel?
Guilty?
No, I mean, it wasn't,
that is
it wasn't
incredible.
it was down to you in one way.
Yeah. I think it's great, and I'm glad. Is it going all right? It's going good. Yeah. I'm delighted. I love it when people love that show because it is meant to be like a really. I think people think it's just us moaning, but it's meant to be a
it's not
really
moaning at
positive
all. It's
show.
it's
And
hilarious.
that is mad.
Isn't that great?
And it's the thought of, was that part of the discussion? And the thought that maybe they.
You don't need to go that far upstream.
No,
you
no,
can
I
if
know.
you want.
Yeah, no, my mind
personally
already
haven't
has.
gone that far upstream.
No, I shouldn't have.
Never occurred to me.
Yeah.
Right, so you've been ill. You've done Strictly. You want to do it again. You've got a tour this year.
No, that's a misquote.
No. So 2026. So you're up for Strictly 2026.
No, I'm not up for Strictly 2026.
Ooh, categorically.
No, not categorically anything. No,
so therefore you are a bit up for it. All right, the last leg is coming back
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. So it's the first step of a new series tomorrow.
Yep, Kevin Bridges and GK Barry.
Can we? Have you? What series is this? 30
32.
32. Nice. You're up against Uncloaked, which I've just found is the breakaway show. What do they call it? The
Switchover show, is it
no,
called?
it's not a switchover show. I can't remember. I can't hear
It's
you.
by the way, it's not called a TV show. It's called a visualised podcast. Uncloaked.
Is it? Nice.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with the name Uncloaked, absolute genius. Because I do know they wear cloaks. I know that bit.
Yeah.
But Uncloaked, great, that isn't it?
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. The first really successful one in the UK of those shows was Big Brother's Little Brother, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
would
think
imagine,
so.
back
And then
in
I
the day.
think You're Fired is quite a big one.
Your Fire was quite a big one. It Takes Two.
It Takes Two.
Yeah.
An extra slice, I
Do
suppose.
you dream of It Takes Two?
No, I don't
Do you?
dream. I don't dream of It Takes Two. I'm not getting drawn on this. No.
Right, now here's the thing. Here's the question. So my son last night said, Dad, you know we've been playing Traitors at school for ages. And Tim outside, who works here with us, he said, it's called Wink Murder. I said, no, that's right. He called it Wink Murder. And so kids have been playing Wink Murder at school for years and years and years. And I said to Noah, I said, why didn't you tell me? We could have turned it into the format before these people.
I know.
Because the best sort of formats, game shows / quiz shows, are ones we've been playing for years as parlour games.
Why would I lie to you?
Yeah, and you just, of course, would I call my bluff? Would I lie to you?
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. And you just got to be the first person to say, well, nobody owns this.
Yeah.
So, and anyway, so that was Wink Murder. I go outside, I tell this story just before you came in.
Yeah.
And then Kedge, who's head of our digital, he says, oh, no, well, we were all playing Among Us during lockdown. I went, what, you as well? What? So Noah didn't tell me about Wink Murder. Kedge didn't tell me about Among Us, which apparently is also... like
is that Traitors as well?
Is this Traitors as well? It's like, so whoever came up with Traitors, well done for them, but that, what you're looking for is where you're looking from.
And so what you're saying is we need to think about playground games?
No, what I'm saying is your wife, who is a renowned and very successful TV person, does she think I'm furious this morning?
But I think the thing is, right?
Yeah.
Traitors.
Yes.
Is it as much about the way they've stylised? It's so well stylised. Do you know what I mean?
Hang on a minute, we can all No, we can't all stylise. But you've got to have the thing to stylise in the first place.
So, what you're saying is...
What I'm saying is, like, what are the other parlour games that we've been playing for years that we need to sort out?
What's the time, Mr. Wolf?
Yeah, I know what you can do with that. Tag.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Kiss Chase.
Do you remember Off
Not in the current climate.
What about Mr. Beast? So Beast Games, what he's done. Have you seen Beast Games?
No.
Oh, come on. You have to watch Beast Games.
So what's Beast Games?
You know Mr. Beast?
I know of Mr. Beast.
So Mr. Beast currently has 396 million followers.
And one, now that I know.
Subscribers to
Yeah.
his YouTube channel, his TikTok channels, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He has a new game show on Amazon. It's a 6-parter. The prize is $5 million. And he has built a city purely to play this game in. And he's built the city. And the way that contestants get from one bit of the city to the other bit of the city is in real helicopters.
Oh, my word.
It's off the chain. It's amazing.
Whoa.
I know. And what he does, sorry, the reason I'm saying that is because he puts a little bit of all those games in everything.
Right, yeah.
So he'll play like musical chairs, but his version of it and all this kind of stuff. So that's all been done.
5 million quid.
Yeah, what hasn't been done? What hasn't been done, Bass?
I mean, it's pretty good because kids play it the whole time for years, and it's quite fun. And if you could play it some kind of
tick,
yeah,
tag,
extreme it.
But then is it, you know, that Channel 4 show like Hunted? Is it called Hunted or is it called... you know, there is shows where you're tracking people and, you know, is that just Big It? I don't know. Is it just Big It?
Big It. I like Big It. There's something in Big It.
You could call it the Big It.
The Big It is even better. Just put the and big before anything.
Yeah.
And it's just it, but in the whole of London.
The Big Josh.
Well, what's that one where they travel around the world as
The
well?
big tour. Oh, Race Across the World, is
Race
it?
Across the World.
By the way, could have done better with that title. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Race Across the World. Do you know what I mean?
I've not seen it, but apparently people love it.
Yeah, it's good.
People do love it. So you've uncloaked. That was enjoyable. You used to be a regular on Soccer AM, didn't you?
No, I didn't used to be a regular on Soccer
What-
AM.
what's
but
that?
I'm willing to answer on that.
Did you not? Were you never on Soccer AM?
I've been on Soccer AM twice.
Right. Okay. Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
You've been on that, but people love having you on their sofa, don't they?
I think I do a good job as a guest.
You do.
I like
and
being
you
a
don't
guest.
worry about
I
that.
prefer being a guest. Because you just respond. I like responding.
Right.
And you're given stuff and then you respond. But like the job you do,
Yes.
right, is a lot more difficult.
No way, man.
Yeah, because you're doing two things. You're trying to you're having to think about what comes next.
Yes.
Like so, and you're actually having to also be funny and engaged. So and you don't have an earpiece in, but obviously there's the equivalent in your head going on of, okay, what am I doing now? What am I doing? What time is it? What's the next song?
I love it.
Do
I love
you?
it, spinning the plates. Yeah.
Do you like being a guest?
I don't mind being a guest. No, I do like being a... No, that's a silly answer. I love being a guest. It's just that I don't have time now to be a guest.
Yeah, of
'Cause I want to
course.
go home and I want to go to sleep, or
Yeah,
I want to get ready for tomorrow's show. But what's really funny, right, and it's no complaint January, isn't it? And this isn't a complaint. It's merely an observation, right? Is that some people, not you, by the way, some people do like one podcast a week. And sometimes in their podcast, because they've been doing it for so long, and sometimes it's 2 or 3 hour conversation, they let slip that it's not that easy doing a 3 hour conversation every week or interviewing somebody once a week that you have to prepare for. We do a long form interview every day after a 2.5 hour radio show the same day live.
Yeah.
And so our 9 till 10 hour, which is this hour,
Yeah.
we have all the fun in this hour. And we started at 6:30. And so you hear these people going, I'm recording one podcast a week at the moment. And, I'm finding it really... What? Pod off.
I know. Me and Rob are done by midday on a Monday.
Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
And you're loving it.
Yeah, 10 a.m. till 12 on a Monday. It's an easy gig. Podcasting is, it's radio and you don't even have to leave your house.
No, and it's there forever.
And it's there, you can't be.
And it has ratings and you can see them all ticking up all the
but
time.
That's
more and more and
madness
more and
lies.
more.
That's where madness lies.
The best. JoshWiddicombe.com. Tickets available for this tour. September. Will it get funnier? Will it get different? What if the tour's ready?
The tour is going to be the same from September to the end.
But what if the tour's ready now? What if you got how long do you have now in the bag if you had to go out today?
About 70 minutes. 70.
And you need 90 or
No, I'd
you
say
do a Q&A?
I do 75 with a support because I think 90 people just
So you're
want
more
it
or less
stopped.
there.
But prune the worst bits and get new bits. It's
Right,
like
so-
just keep kind of.
So let's say you've got a solid 60 now.
Yeah.
Right. And a changeable 10 and then hopefully a 15 and then a solid 75 and then you can play with it. So say it's ready now. Say it's oven ready now to 60 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
So Seinfeld only ever does 60 minutes anyway because he says the
He's
longer you're out
lazy,
there, the more chance the audience are going to win. Stay out there long enough. Even I will get beat. That's what he
I
says.
totally agree with him. I think people do too long.
Right. So he does his 60. He does his solid 60. So you have a solid 60. What are we now? Jan 23rd. Right.
Yeah.
And that solid 60 is you're just going to keep it till September. I couldn't do that.
No, but I'm not doing it every night. I'm doing 1 or 2 a week until then. So it's just keeping it turning over, keeping it evolving,
All right.
and until then.
If you had to come up with one bit, don't tell us, don't do it for us.
Yeah.
But one bit of the set so far that you think that's staying till the end, that's going nowhere, and one that probably won't make it. Which would the two be?
Well, they're almost the same answer, right?
Go on.
Because I've got this is how to talk around this. I've got a bit about my best bit was about Inside the Factory with Greg Wallace,
Right.
and so
That's all changed now.
That's
isn't
all
it?
changed now.
Right.
So that was like just a fun bit about the show Inside the Factory,
Right.
About him going around the
And
factory.
you can't do that without Greg Wallace.
No, because it's about how mad Greg Wallace is in this factory
right.
and his reaction to it. And so currently, I'm trying to re-stylize that bit to reference these things.
Or maybe can you change to Nick Knowles or something?
Well, no, because it is
No?
Greg Wallace.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so...
So what are you going to do?
Well, it's fine. It's fine. Come and see whether I salvage the best bit of the show.
Wow. Okay.
let's
Buy tickets for that if
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
else.
to see a man try and save his best routine.
Oh, wow. That was not an answer I expected or could have imagined, frankly.
No, if you'd have thought, I imagine this is... So that's the kind of problems that a comedian has 7 months out from doing a tour.
Well, just you at the moment, to be honest.
And now, and now I'm looking at the other bits of material going, is there anyone else here that's going to get themselves
gosh.
cancelled?
Well, Josh, good luck.
Thank you.
Please don't overdo it, but, you're not going to
No,
listen to
I'm
me.
not going to.
But seriously, get well soon.
Thank you.
And get properly well.
Thank you for having me.
Because what you'll do is you'll get 90% well and think that's it, and then you put yourself
Exactly.
60% back in the hole.
Yeah.
So do stay well. Can we have a Josh Widdicombe, one of our
Thank you for
favourites? Of
having
course,
me.
we love Josh Widdicombe
Thank
on the
you.
show. And he's changed his name by deep online to joshwiddicombe.com for
I
tickets.
have, yes.
For tickets, joshwiddicombe.com.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.